that. Well, in the description of the fort, the historical description, they refer to the fort as being built on high, fast ground. Well, the high ground, if I go down and I walk out in this area and I look back, to my left I see high ground. There are houses built on it. To my right, I no longer see high ground. I used to see high ground there. It was called Bull Hill. And there was, at one time, a cemetery there. And the Newcastle fathers knew this. They had to know it because I've seen human remains that were dug up there. I've had a skull in my hand of some poor unfortunate person. It could have been an Indian cemetery. Quite likely there were some Indians in there. It also could have been a cemetery dating as far back as the fort. It could have been people buried from the fort there. At any rate, it was pretty close to where the fort is supposed to have been located. Now, what happened to the cemetery? Well, back in those days, and this hasn't been that long ago, I was in high school, but they decided the 3rd Street was cobblestoned along its entire length. I always thought it was a doggone shame to destroy it. It was a beautiful street. And it is not a street that one normally would use as a traffic street. It serves mainly the people that live along 3rd Street. And I doubt they were particularly inconvenienced by driving their cars a block on cobblestones. But at any rate, they decided for some reason, which I have no idea why, to cover it with asphalt. All the streets were covered with asphalt except that one and the one over on the other side. So at any rate, in order to do this, they wanted to level the street. And then the dump trucks began to work, and that's where Bull Hill went. And believe me, my friend, we would set on piles of dirt that came out of the dump truck and pick up human remains that were being spread up and down 3rd Street. That's where the dirt came from. That's where the fill came from. And not one person in town was sense enough or cared very much about what they were destroying down there. Make any difference. They needed fill dirt.
So now Bull Hill was...
It was a rise. Very, very high rise.
Similar to the rise opposite the ferry wharf.
It was, yes, it was a bit lower, but it was similar to the rise. So think about this. Then go out on the ferry wharf, the riverside, and look back toward town. Again, this is best viewed from a boat. Well, you see, coming from the left, where the houses are, if you're looking back toward town, you see coming from the left this high rise of ground. You then see a depression, which then runs over to the beginnings of the rows of houses on Bull Hill and then shoots up again. It used to, where the Bull Hill Cemetery was, where Bull Hill got its name. It was a hill there. If you then were to draw a line between the two peaks, I solely suspected that's where that fort was located, on high, fast ground.
So then the idea of the trustees excavating the present level, they're not going to find anything at all.
Well, if my theory would be correct, they would not find anything. They might find artifacts, but they would not find the site of the old fort. But but that's only a theory, because